Welcome to Threshold, a place where we explore the sacred in the ordinary and the beauty in the in-between. I'm Molly Wilcox. I'm a wife, a mom, a writer, and your guide as we step over life's thresholds together. Whether you've been reading my newsletter for years or you're just discovering Threshold here, I'm so glad that you're listening. Together, we reflect on faith, creativity, and the small but meaningful ways we're being transformed in the everyday. Let's dive into this week's reflection. There was a time when I wore ambition like armor. My plans were simply to make my life extraordinary. My dreams were big and bold, and there was no amount of reason or practicality that could pull me down. I also thought this made me a very good Christian, because I believe God can do anything. A part of that anything included my dreams. So I thought, the bigger, the better. My prayer journals are full of scribbles of ideas I have, and many of those dreams have happened. Those dreams pushed me toward more effort, more risks, greater courage, and convincing myself to keep going. My life has been full of serendipitous moments that I find joy in retracing my own footsteps and looking around my memories to find God there. I dreamt about becoming a published author from the time I was a teeny tiny kid. I was published as a contributing writer by one of the big publishing houses when I was only 22. A dream that many people devote their entire lives to trying to achieve just sort of happened for me in a roundabout way. I think the dream was put on my heart long before I knew what it would entail, because the God who instilled that dream in me knew exactly what would come next. But with every achievement, there is this feeling of, what now? There is a part of me that loves this feeling. There's something incredible about chasing down a dream with grit and determination until you can grip it tightly in your hand and claim it as yours. Although, truthfully, most of the things that I have dreamt up have turned out to look a little unexpected up close. I grew up in the Midwest, so I feel this is most accurately depicted as catching fireflies. When they're free, they sparkle in the distance against the backdrop of trees and shadows. They shine like tiny little lanterns that have come to life. They turn off and on and enchant you to chase them as if they're whispering, "Come, take a closer look." But once you have them in a jar in captivity and get that closer look, they're just bugs, and suddenly they look pretty gross. Like many writers, I assumed being a published author would mean something. What is really funny now is I'm not sure who I wanted it to mean something to. It means something to me, but I find that most readers don't care or even know which publisher is behind a book. Most writers toil over contracts and sales numbers and email lists just to find out that they still need another job to pay the bills. It's not as glamorous as it appeared in the dream. Publishing happens to be a perfect example of this, but it's true of most of our dreams, isn't it? The idea of it can be so much better than what it actually is. Trying to find joy in dreaming, in achieving dreams, and letting dreams change and surprise me and grow and shrink and move has led me to firmly believe that the joy isn't in dreaming. It's in looking at the dream giver. When we achieve our dreams, we find ourselves asking, what's next? When we don't, we ask, what now? But maybe all of these what questions wouldn't feel so overwhelming if we looked at who and knew the who to be infinitely good, generous, and kind. I think the dreaming is less about how grand and exciting the dream itself is, and more about the obedience of learning to listen and follow the Spirit of God, the voice of the ultimate dreamer. Lately, my dreams feel so small, someone watching might miss them. Truthfully, a part of me wonders if something is wrong with that. Am I missing God's calling on my life if I don't feel this pull to do something huge with big consequences, something that would take monumental effort and courage? Or does the Spirit do His mightiest works in the small, humble moments that seem to lack both striving and celebration? My husband and I are on track to accomplish a dream this year that we have imagined since before we were married. We have talked about it from every angle and at every turn of our lives, and now it is so close to us, it almost feels like it isn't real. We've already started asking each other, what now? And we don't have any idea. The invitation to dream bigger feels a bit scary to me today. But the Spirit has been reminding me it's less about finish lines, lists of accomplishments, and even the size of the dream. It's more about trusting God when the dream changes, when it happens, or when it doesn't. I still consider myself a big dreamer. I feel nothing is impossible with God, written firmly in my heart and on my imagination. At the same time, I love the feeling of small rituals, daily obedience, and not knowing what comes next, and not needing to feel the pressure to have a big dream or a big idea to hunt down. When I was a kid chasing fireflies, I wouldn't get the idea until I saw them in the backyard. The idea to get a glass jar always came after spending a long summer day on my favorite yellow swing in our backyard. I'm still dreaming, but I'm dreaming differently. I look at my dreams and ask a simple question. Where do I see God here? Maybe this is the confession of a big dreamer. The dream itself was never really the point. Thanks for spending time with me today on Threshold. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with a friend, subscribe, or leave a review. It all helps so much. And if you're not already part of the community, you can join the conversation by subscribing to my weekly newsletter on Substack, Threshold by mollywilcox.substack.com. Until next time, let's keep finding beauty in the in-between.